Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. In CSC1 and CSC2, is Swift programming language is started or not? In both class? Yes. Anyone?
In CSC1, it is not started.
And what about CSC2?
No, it is not started.
Okay. Okay. So today we are starting with the Swift programming language, and after that we will learn about the Xcode, and then we will see in the chapter. If you see, then the chapter number 5 is all about Xcode introduction. Then chapter number 6 is about Swift programming language, and then how you can use different control in while creating the iOS application. So today we will see how we will learn about the Swift programming language. Then we will start with the Xcode introduction, and then we will create some application. Okay, so let's start with the
Sir,
yes,
can you start the recording?
yeah, doing it. Okay, so let's start with the Swift programming language. And let me tell you that in iOS application, well, for creating the iOS application, before the Swift programming language, uh, the Objective-C programming language is used, okay, to write a code. Like in Android, we are using Java and Kotlin. Just like that, before the Swift programming language, the Objective-C programming language was used. Yes, if you are not speaking, then please mute yourself. Okay, thank you. So Swift प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज के पहले ऑब्जेक्टिव सी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज हम लोग यूज करते थे टू क्रिएट iOS application. And Swift programming language is it's a easy, flexible. Why it is called easy and flexible? The reason is it's just like English, plain English. Okay, so just like a plain English, you can understand it that what code it is. Okay, but the same if you compare with the Objective C, and Objective C is a bit complicated where you need to remember many things, but in Swift programming it's easy and it's flexible. Okay, and it is object oriented language, so you can expect classes and objects as well. This will be the content that we are going to see, that is about Swift. Then hello world, variable constant, how we can print, type conversion, if with optionals, switch, and there are other features are also included in a switch. So that's why we will see that also. That is using range, tuples, value binding, where condition with switch, then loops, function, passing and returning function, array, dictionaries, enum, class, inheritance, self. Self is nothing but you can compare with this pointer. Okay, this keyword आपने देखा होगा, that is in Java, C++. It's the same. And super and override, constructor नहीं है, actually it's a initializer. It's the same kind of constructor only. So that's why I've written here constructor, but it's a initializer. Then structure, and the last concept that we will see, that is optional, but it is very important with respecting to coding, because whenever you open your any simple code, then also you will find some optional thing, that is question mark you will see somewhere, you will see some exclamation marks, and that is nothing. It's all about the optionals. So basically we are using the optionals for null safety. Okay, for null safety, that's why. Okay, we will learn that in the last concept, because whenever I started with the in the starting, but whenever we start the coding, then up to that the students are forgetting what is the optional. That's why we will keep it as a last topic. So about the Swift, it's a new scripting language for iOS application. As I said, it's easy and flexible. And unlike Objective-C, it's not C compatible, where the C is a superset, Objective-C is a superset of C, where Swift is not. So basically, it's just a comparison. And if you know the Objective-C, then also you can easily migrate to or move to the Swift programming language. And now everybody is moved in iOS. By creating the iOS application, everybody is moved from Objective-C to C. Like right now we are learning the Java, but soon we will also move to the Kotlin. I think almost not everybody is moved till now in Android. I'm talking about, not everybody is moved to Kotlin, but yes, in maybe in 1 year completely it will be changed to Kotlin itself. So you don't have to write semicolons in a Swift programming language. But अगर वो कहाँ पे लिखना है, if there is a multiple statement in one line, to separate each statement you can write semicolon, but semicolon is not necessary for each and every line. ठीक है, कोई semicolon लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, but अगर multiple statement है एक ही line में, then you can separate it by semicolon. Then Swift Xcode 6 आया, उसके बाद ही Swift आ चुका था. Okay, and it doesn't require a main function. In Objective-C, just like a C, it's an entry point, where in a Swift it is not. Okay. Then about the first program in a Swift programming language. Again, there is a two ways by which you can learn the Swift programming language. The one is by using the Xcode in a Mac. Okay, Mac के अंदर आप Xcode is one software by which we can create the iOS application. So Xcode software है जिसके थ्रू हम लोग iOS application create कर सकते हैं. In that only we can learn Swift as well. Okay, so there is an option of playground, creating a playground, and that is nothing but we can learn and we can play around the Swift programming language. That's the thing. Okay, so we can create a project and we can create a playground. So there is a difference. Playground मतलब सिर्फ आप लोग Swift programming try कर रहे हो, सीख रहे हो, ठीक है, and project meaning you are creating some application. So that's the difference. The other way is how you can do the practice on a Swift. There is online Swift compiler is there that you can use. Let me show you how you can do it. Fine. Let me close this. You just need to Google that online Swift compiler. You just need to write online Swift compiler. And once you click on a search, you will find the tutorial point link. You just click on that link and you will see here the code. Okay, and here you will see the result. Okay, so let me start with the first function, that is print. जैसे C language में printf था, यहाँ पे print है. To print any string on the screen. Let's say I'm writing my name, and how to execute how to execute it just by clicking on this button, that is execute. Okay, so let me execute it and let's see the output. And you can see here the output, that is whatever we are written, whatever we are writing here in a print, that is printing on the screen. Okay, this is the one way. The other way also I'm showing you in a Xcode in a Mac. So I'm using this Mac PC. I don't know who is using right now a Mac PC. 1 second, let me call, I think. So 1 second, I'm just calling. Whoever is using that, please stop. हाँ मैम, वो कोई बच्चा बैठा ना वहाँ पे, कोई स्टूडेंट है, तो उसको बोलो ना अभी के लिए वो थर्ड कंप्यूटर ना यूज करे. Okay. Okay, so as you can see here, this is what the remote PC I'm using, that is Mac. So I'm just showing you the other way, or in Xcode, how you can create a playground and how you can write the code, okay, and how the interface is looking. Okay, so that is an Xcode. You can see the symbol here, this one, in which it's something like A is written on that, and you can see the label as well, that is Xcode. Once you click it, it will open this kind of window where you can see here the recent application on the right hand side, and here there are options that you can create a playground, you can create an Xcode project, and you can open an existing project, or you can do the clone basically. Okay, copy. Clone means copy. So what we want to do right now is to create one playground and just try the code, that how it look. Okay, and let's click here to get started with the playground. Okay, we can also create some Xcode project. That means we want to create some application, but here we want to create one playground so that we can try with the Swift programming language. Let's click here. Okay, so it will show you the windows like this. Just like in Android we use a blank one, just here also we will use the blank one, and you have to give some name to that particular playground. You can also save it. Hello, कौन बोलो? बट तर પછી વાત કરીએ, અત્યારે મારો લેક્ચર ચાલે છે. હા હા. Okay, so here you need to give the name of your playground, and here you can choose where you can store the location basically, and here you can give the name. So just create. So I'm giving the name as a playground, and as you can see here, this is what the code, the by default you can see. Okay, there is one import statement. It's saying import UI kit, and there is one statement that is saying var str equals to and hello playground, something like that. Okay, so here you can see the name of your playground. ठीक है, उसके बाद यहाँ पे कुछ बटन है, that is for closing, minimizing, maximizing. Okay, and here like let's click here and you can see if you want to add some UI component, some code, that you can also include here, but right now we are not including anything. Okay, and there are some tabs, kind of navigation is there. Once you click here, you can see the we can say tab, that is navigation tab here, where you can see that your the file, we can say the file directories, everything. And the second one, where you can see the debug area, when you click here, you will see here the debug area, where you can also see your output. And here on the right hand side, you can see here the inspection panel, or we can say inspect, मतलब कि आप ये कह सकते हो कि सारी की सारी properties, if you don't know what is that function is, अगर उसके बारे में जानना है आपको, kind of help, okay, that is providing here, and that we will see later on when we learn the iOS application development. But for now, I'm just showing you that how you need to write the code and what is the by default code is available in a Xcode playground. Okay, so first line it's saying, okay, let me give your word. Okay, fine. So first line is saying the import UI kit. Okay, so UI kit क्या है? UI kit is one framework. Okay, UI kit is one framework which have a lot of classes, and using that class we can create our iOS application. ओके, सो आप कह सकते हो कि UI किट एक फ्रेमवर्क है जिसके अंदर बहुत सारे क्लासेस है, एंड उस क्लास का यूज करके आप iOS एप्लीकेशन बना सकते हो. So that's why it's here, it's a UI kit. But if you see here in an online compiler, it's a different, because उसने जो जिस हिसाब से इम्प्लीमेंट किया है उस हिसाब से उन्होंने वो पैकेज या फ्रेमवर्क इंपोर्ट किया है. ओके, बट दिस इज व्हाट the UI kit, and यही आपको learn करना है. Basically even in a Xcode you will find this UI kit in your class also, whichever the Swift programming file you will create. In that also you will find that is import UI kit. So UI kit is basically a framework in which there are a lot of classes are there that we will use, like label, मतलब जितने भी आपके widget होते हैं वो सारे के सारे basically classes है. Okay, and you create the object of it, and उसकी methods आप use करते हो to create your application. Now next thing is, here it is saying VAR. Okay, so we will not see right now the VAR. What we will do, we will just try to print here the string in a double quote, as it is a string, so we will print in a double quotes. Okay, and it will, if there is some error, then it will show you here as well. You can see as there is a error for double quotes which I have not included here, so that's why it's showing the error. And once it is done, and there is also button to kind of run, we can say. Okay, when you click here, you can see the result here. Maybe let me okay, wait. Yeah, you can see here the result, that is the which we have printed, and the result you can see here as well, and here you can see the preview. Okay, the one thing you can notice here, after the whichever the string I have printed, after that there is a /n. That means no need to give here the /n once you print it. Okay, so /n by default hoga in case of print function. So whenever you printing again the second time, it will be on the next line only. So let me run this, and you can see the result here. Okay, so that means you can say, for now you can say कि print एक function है जिसके through आप string print कर सकते हो, just like printf. But the difference is that in a printf there is no मतलब implicit कुछ भी नहीं है, जैसे कि next line जो होता है वो आपको अलग से यूज करना पड़ता है या फिर. Okay, fine, that's fine. So I hope you understand this. That is /n. लास्ट में न्यू लाइन आपको ऐड करने की जरूरत नहीं है, लाइक एक्सप्लिसिटली आप लिखते थे printf के अंदर, वो नहीं लिखना पड़ेगा. So this is how it's look the playground in Xcode, and this is how you can run it. But we are not going to run in this. We are going to run in our online compiler. It's the same. ठीक है, जहां जहां पर भी थोड़ा भी डिफरेंस होगा, I will tell you that here there is a change in Xcode. This is what the change you need to do in Xcode. ज्यादा कुछ चेंजेस नहीं है, एक दो जगह पे है जो मैं बता दूंगा आपको. Otherwise the online compiler and here it will be the same. Okay, so this is the first thing, that is the function, print function. The second is about variable and constant. Okay, so the second is about variable and constant. Can anybody tell me what is the exact difference between the variable and constant? Yes, anyone? What is the difference between the variable and constant?
The value of variable is not fixed, but the value of constant is fixed when we initialize it. Cannot be changed.
Any other difference? In a constant, is it necessary to give at least or any value while creating the constant variable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the other difference. So let me tell you that difference is, in case of variable, whenever we are creating a variable, it's not necessary to give some value at the time of declaration, but in constant you have to give some value. You have to initialize some value. The second difference is, whenever you try to change the constant, it will not allow you. Okay, एक बार आपने जैसे ही कुछ वेरिएबल की वैल्यू दे दी, उसके बाद आप उसको चेंज नहीं कर सकते. Let's take example and how to declare the variable in a Swift. The keyword is var. Okay, the keyword is var. This is how you can create the variable. So keyword is var, and after that you need to write here the variable name. Let's say I'm taking as a I, and no need to specify here the type of the variable whenever you are assigning some value while declaration. So if I'm saying that कि अगर मैं 10 है, मैं initialize कर रहा हूं, तो उस केस में डेटा टाइप देने की जरूरत नहीं है. जो जिस हिसाब का मतलब जैसा भी डेटा होगा, अकॉर्डिंगली ये आई जो वेरिएबल है वो उस डेटा टाइप का बन जाएगा. ठीक है. एंड नाउ इफ आई सपोज ट्राई टू चेंज the value of I with some string, what do you think? It will give error or not? क्योंकि I के अंदर मैंने 10 रखा है, that means ये I होगा वो integer variable बन जाएगा. And now if I trying to change the value but with string, will it give some error or not? What do you think? क्या लग रहा है आपको? You can write in a comment section as well. You can speak as well. That's also fine. It's fine if it is wrong. There is no problem. You just tell me. Anyone? Am I audible or not? Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, then tell me, what do you think? क्या लगता है आपको कि ये एक वेरिएबल है जो i है जिसके अंदर मैंने 10 वैल्यू स्टोर किया है, उसके बाद अगर मैं कोई स्ट्रिंग वैल्यू असाइन करता हूँ, क्या आपको क्या लगता है कि एरर आएगा या नहीं आएगा?
Yes,
An-
error.
क्यों आएगा एरर?
Sir, we cannot assign string value to integer type.
Yeah, that's a correct answer, and let's execute it. And whenever we execute it, the same thing which you have said, it is written in form of error. You cannot assign type string to type integer, but you can assign, you can change, you can assign the some value which is of integer type. That's fine. There is no issue, and there is no error. The reason is we have not printed, so that's why it is not showing here. Otherwise, there is no error. So this is how you can declare some variable in a Swift. And what if you want to declare some constant, then the keyword is let. L-E-T. Let is the keyword by which you can declare some constant. Let's say I'm declaring the constant which is I1. I'm giving some value which is say 12, and let's try to assign some value to I1 with the 13. So probably it will give error, and as you can see here, the error is saying cannot assign a value I1 as it is a let constant. ठीक है, आप उसको असाइन नहीं कर सकते, एंड अगर आपको असाइन करना है तो आप लेट से उसको चेंज करके वेरिएबल बना दो, मतलब कांस्टेंट को उसको आप चेंज करके उसको वेरिएबल बना दो, एंड उसके बाद तो वो चेंज हो सकता है. ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव. आपने जो थियरी में बताया था वही मैंने यहाँ पे चेक किया है कि क्या मैं कांस्टेंट की वैल्यू चेंज कर सकता हूँ या नहीं. देन द आंसर इज नो. एंड लेट्स चेक the other thing, that is, what if we don't want to assign some value? अगर मुझे वेरिएबल में कोई वैल्यू असाइन नहीं करनी है तो उस केस में मैं क्या कर सकता हूं? इन दैट केस वी हैव टू स्पेसिफाई द डेटा टाइप. And how to specify the data type, how to provide the data type to particular variable is by using colon and then the data type. So I'm taking the data type as a int, that is for integer, and once you do it and then you can assign some value, that's fine, no issue in that. So when I execute it, it's fine, there is no error. Okay, so अगर आप चाहते हो कि कोई वैल्यू असाइन नहीं करनी है, आपको नहीं पता कि क्या वैल्यू होगी इनिशियल वैल्यू, तो उस केस में आपको डेटा टाइप मेंशन करना पड़ेगा using colon. But if you know that what type of data and what is the initial value, then you can directly write, that's fine. And now let's see the same thing but using the constant. Let's say I'm using here which is int, and let's say here I'm assigning some value to that I constant, and if I execute it, okay, and it is also providing that it's working, okay, you can see here. बट वैसे ये असाइन नहीं करना चाहिए था, बट वो अलाउड कर रहा है बिकॉज इट्स अ फर्स्ट टाइम. So whenever it's next time, if you try to assign some other value, it will give you error. Okay, that you can only assign initialize only once the variable constant variable, which is I in our case. Okay, so first time उसको assign करने दिया, and later on when we change the constant value, then it is not allowing us to change. The same thing you can also write it in this way also. If you want that data type be provide karo and initial value be provide karo, that's also fine. And you can also print. And how to print the variable value using print function? Directly you can write the variable name here. That will be fine. You can see the result as well. Now there is a question that how we can combine both the string and the variable name, the variable value both. Then the answer is that let me show you the answer for that. अगर आपको string and कोई variable की value दोनों साथ में print करना है तो वो कैसे करेंगे? If I write it like this, then let's say I'm writing the name and the variable name like this, then it will be considered as a string. So जो भी आपने लिखा है वो print हो जाएगा. But this is not I want to print. I want to print basically here the value of the variable. So let me try here I. So that is also not working. So let's try this, that is comma, and you can see the result. Okay, the other way is there is one operator which you can use here, that is slash, then parenthesis, and in parenthesis you can write the variable name. So in our case it's I. So this is how you need to write inside this double quotes if you want to print basically the concatenation, the string and the variable value. This is how you can do it, that is slash, then in a parenthesis the variable name, and let's try to execute it, and you can see the result. It's the same. You can also do some operation in this parenthesis also, like I plus b or I plus 10. That is also fine, no issue in that. So you can see the result. The other thing that I want to say here is about the variable is, whenever I'm writing something like this, let's say okay, suppose I'm giving some value which is let's say 10 only, not even 10.5. I want to give this variable value as a 10, बट अगर मैं ये 10 यहाँ पे प्रोवाइड करूंगा तो उसका मतलब इसका जो डेटा है वो इंटीजर टाइप का है. सो दैट मीन्स ये जो f जो वेरिएबल बनेगा दैट विल बी आल्सो ऑफ द सेम टाइप विच इज इंटीजर. बट व्हाट इफ यू वांट टू मेक इट फ्लोट? अगर आपको उसको मतलब बताना है कि ये फ्लोट वेरिएबल है बट उसके अंदर 10 वैल्यू स्टोर करना है, इन दैट केस आल्सो यू नीड टू स्पेसिफाई द टाइप। ओके, अदरवाइज क्या होता है कि 10 है वो इंटीजर है तो वो f है वो वेरिएबल इंटीजर टाइप का बन जाता है। बट अगर आपको ये बताना है कि ये फ्लोट भी है एंड वो 10 वैल्यू भी स्टोर कर रहा है, सो इन दैट केस यू नीड टू स्पेसिफाई द डेटा टाइप। तो डेटा टाइप कब स्पेसिफाई करनी है वो इम्पोर्टेंट है। ठीक है, जब आप एक तो कभी भी कुछ वैल्यू असाइन नहीं करते, कुछ वैल्यू नहीं ले रहे हो इनिशियली, देन यू नीड टू स्पेसिफाई। देन सेकेंड थिंग, अगर आपको एक्सप्लिसिटली बताना है कि ये यही टाइप का वेरिएबल है, क्योंकि उसके अंदर दूसरे टाइप की वैल्यू भी स्टोर कर सकते हैं। जैसे कि अगर आप फ्लोट के अंदर बात करो तो जो भी इंटीजर वैल्यूज है वो सब कुछ स्टोर हो सकती है। ओके, एंड वो इंटीजर बन जाता बाय डिफॉल्ट अगर आप उसको नहीं बोलते कि ये फ्लोट है, देन इन दैट केस। ओके, so we have seen the variable constant, then how to print it. Now the next is about if condition. So if condition is same, what is the change here, that you don't have to give some parenthesis while providing the condition in if. So यहाँ पे कोई condition देने की जरूरत नहीं है. Let's say I'm writing f here. If f is greater than 9, and then we can print something, and we know that the condition is true, okay, because f is a 10, so it's a greater than 9. So as it is a true, so we can print let's say high. So this will work. So no need of parenthesis. Okay, it's not necessary, it's not compulsory, but if you want you can include for the complex expression. The second thing, बहुत सारी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में क्या होता है कि इफ देयर इज ओनली वन स्टेटमेंट, यू कैन राइट द एग्जीक्यूटेबल स्टेटमेंट आफ्टर द दिस इफ विदाउट कर्ली ब्रेसेस। कर्ली ब्रेसेस के बिना भी आप ये प्रिंट लाइन, मतलब जो एक स्टेटमेंट है एक लाइन का है तो वो लिख सकते हो। दिस इज आई थिंक इन इवन सी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज, बट इट इज नॉट अलाउड हियर इन अ स्विफ्ट. In a Swift, even there is only one executable statement in a if condition, then also you need to provide the curly bracket or the curly braces, and only it will work. Okay, then else if, it's the same. Else condition, it's also same. There is nothing difference. Let's see here. Let's say I'm writing here the 45. I'm just showing you how you can write it. Else if, then condition, no need to provide the, okay, the bracket, the parenthesis here. You can provide the, check the condition if as f is greater than, let's say, or less than 9. Then you can print, let me give here the space, and you can give here the hello, and in the last case, that is else case. So this is what the else if ladder, else if ladder. So if it is greater than 9, then it will print hi. If it is less than 9, it will print hello. And if it is equal to 9, then the else part will be executed, and I have printed value is 9. So let's see what it is printing. So when you execute it, as it is greater than 9, it is printing high. If it is less than 8, it will print hello. And if it is equal to 9, then it will say value is 9. The syntax is the same. there is not a difference, but ये एक difference था कि आपको even there is only one single executable statement, then also you need to write or you need to enclose that statement into curly braces. Now next is a switch statement. Let's say I'm taking some variable. कोई मुझे ये बताएगा कि सी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज के अंदर जो स्विच केस होता है उसमें कौन सी डेटा टाइप अलाउड है? Yes, anyone? In a C programming language, in a switch case, which kind of data type or which type of data you can pass in a switch?
Integer or character type?
Yeah, that's a correct answer. So integer and character type of data is only allowed in case of switch. But here, if you want to provide the float as well, that is also allowed, and also string is also allowed. Okay, let's take some variable. Let's say a variable. I'm providing some data like this. And then I'm taking the switch case, and here also there is no need of parenthesis, but yes, the curly braces is mandatory. And just like switch case, we have to provide different cases, and here you can provide the cases like KNA or whatever you want to provide. And after that, जो भी case लिखा है उसके बाद column लिखना है, that is also the same. And here you can print whatever you want to print. Let's say name is Anand. Let me copy this. And let me take the last case.
The break statement will not come after each case.
Here there is, please mute yourself so I can speak. Yeah.
Break statement won't come after each case.
Please mute yourself, then I can speak because there is some noise is coming from your side. Yeah, okay. So yes, there is no need of break statement after in each case, because here in a Swift programming language, in after every case, once the particular statement is executed, मतलब जितने भी स्टेटमेंट है वो एग्जीक्यूट हो जाएंगे, तो इम्प्लिसिटली देयर इज अ ब्रेक. तो मतलब जैसे ही ये स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट हो जाएगा उसके बाद तुरंत ही वो बाहर आ जाएगा स्विच केस के. सो देयर इज नो नीड ऑफ राइटिंग ब्रेक इन केस ऑफ इन अ स्विफ्ट प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज. सो ब्रेक स्टेटमेंट की जरूरत नहीं है. So yes, let's try to execute it. Then it is giving us an error. Why it is giving us error? Because वो आपको बता रहा है कि यहाँ पे default case नहीं है. So that you need to add. Okay? Because ये मतलब string में तो कितनी भी string आ सकती है. आप सारे के सारे case मतलब जो cases है वो आप लिख नहीं सकते. So that's why if it is not matching with anything, then you can write here the default case. सो आप सारे के सारे केस वो आप लिख सकते हो। अगर आपके जो सारे के सारे केस मैच नहीं होंगे तो डिफॉल्ट केस है वो एग्जीक्यूट हो जाएगा। सो दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव टू राइट हियर द डिफॉल्ट केस एज वेल। Okay, and now if I try to execute it, so it's printing this one, this statement. So even I have not written the break. Otherwise what will happen कि अगर आप C प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में अगर सपोज ये वाला केस एग्जीक्यूट हो जाता, इन केस अगर यस द स्ट्रिंग इज नॉट सपोर्टेड, बट अगर वो सपोर्टेड होती भी एंड अगर यहाँ पे ब्रेक स्टेटमेंट नहीं होता आफ्टर हियर, तो क्या होता है कि दूसरे केस के जितने भी प्रिंट स्टेटमेंट है वो भी एग्जीक्यूट हो जाते, बट इन केस ऑफ C programming language if there is a no break statement. But here if you see, it's not going and executing the other case. Let's see, I'm trying to match with this and let's see whether it is executing the other case or not. Let's execute it and you can see here. So it's just printing only that particular case, and once it is done, there is an implicit break is there. Okay, so वो सीधा बाहर आ जाता है. Okay, so there is no need of writing break in a switch case in each case. And again, the float value is also allowed. If you want to try, you can also try the float. And there is also some other features. The one more thing which is changed in this switch case, that at least one executable statement आपको रखना ही पड़ेगा. If I try to execute this, let's say if there is some even if I provide some different value which is matching here, we know that the answer is this. But problem is that in this case we have not provided any executable statement, not even one. Then it will give you the error that in a case or in a switch case should have at least one executable statement. At least one executable statement होना ही चाहिए. ठीक है, अगर ये केस मतलब ट्रू हो जाता इन केस, तो यहाँ पे कुछ एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए कुछ है नहीं. Okay, so in here in a Swift programming language, there must be at least one executable statement in each case. वो होना ही जरूरी है. ठीक है. So till now what we have learned, okay, I'm not going further right now in this lecture. So what we have learned till now is Swift. In Xcode, the software name is Xcode, which you can use in a Mac operating system. And in Xcode you need to create a playground. Okay, playground आप use कर सकते हो to learn a Swift programming language. The second thing, the second alternative is online Swift compiler, that is from Tutorial Point, और दूसरे भी है, but ये अच्छा लगा मुझे, last time भी मैंने use किया था, but this is fine, so that's why we will use this. Okay, online Swift compiler, that is from the Tutorial Point. The second thing that we have learned here, the Swift is a type language. And what do you mean by type language? कि मतलब जो भी डेटा उसको असाइन किया जाता है उस टाइप का वो डेटा बन जाता है. Okay, and if you are not providing the value at that time, you have to provide the data type as well. Then we have seen how to print, that is using the print function, and there is also implicit /n. मतलब /n आपको अलग से देने की जरूरत नहीं है. Okay, after each print statement. The second thing, that is there is no main function. Main function यहाँ पे नहीं है, मतलब ऐसा कुछ एंट्री पॉइंट नहीं है कि मेन फंक्शन होना ही चाहिए. That's not true in case of Swift programming language. The second thing we have learned about the variable and the constant. The variable you can declare using the keyword var, and constant we can declare using let. Okay, जो difference था वो हमने देख लिया. Then after we have learned about how you can print the string and how you can concat the variable value as well. That is using slash, and in a parenthesis you can write the variable name. Then after we have seen the switch case. In a switch you can also use integer, float, string as well, and there are also a lot of features are available in a switch case that we will see later on. But for now, what we have learned, even here the float is also allowed, and in each case we have to write at least one executable statement. That is also true. Otherwise it will not, it will give you the error that at least one executable statement hona chahiye. Okay, that's it. If you have any query what we have learned till now, then please ask me. Till then I'm just taking your attendance. Yes, any query? Okay, so if there is no query, you may can leave. Thank you.